Now if you don't know what cut paste is used for, you obviously have not been watching my channel all that much, because all my trees almost have cut paste. One of the side effects of starting a YouTube channel. That's for me. Naturgeist. Everybody who has seen his channel will recognize this, I think. Create your own bonsai putty. Yes, that is indeed what it is. The use of cut paste of course comes from tree maintenance, and there they have decided it is not a good idea to use it anymore. And the reason is where they thought that if you cut a limb like this, you paint it over, you keep moisture out and diseases out, but in fact, in practice, that was not the case. So in bonsai, the cut paste is now primarily used to aid in the covering of wounds. When we use cut paste on bonsai, it is mainly to make sure that big cuts like these heal over properly. The cut paste makes sure that the wound doesn't dry out immediately. Therefore, the cells in the cambium layer do not dry out. They have a chance to start multiplying before they dry out. That way, the wound doesn't get any bigger. Next to this, once the cambium layer starts to create callus, the callus gets a chance to move underneath the cut paste and more quickly close the wound than you would normally get. Cut paste comes in different types. There is the putty that Naturgeist just sent me. So this is putty that comes as a thick paste, right? So I already showed you, this is really very, very thick paste. Looks and feels like normal putty. So what else is in the box? A little note here. The consistency is probably a little different from what you're used to. If the plasticine is too hard, heat the sealed tin in a warm water bath for a few minutes to soften it. Now this is similar to what I normally use, except for the fact this one is empty. So thank you, timing is perfect. But also there I can try to get the last little bit out. Here you see this is just a very, very thick hard paste, right? This stuff is quite dear. It is 17 euros and this was bought 2-3 years ago. I think that with the corona crisis and transport cost they might have gone to 20-25 bucks. So I looked for something else, and this is just regular plasticine that you can get in a store. Now this stuff, it looks nice, it looks like a regular putty, but once it dries out it gets really, really hard. So that's why this tub is really full. I'm actually not using this at all. Don't be confused by the label, I just put it in an old putty container. And we have this stuff, and this is really, really liquid. So I have a bit of wood here. Look, this really is more like a glue. And the thin stuff is primarily used for azaleas. So if we work on azalea like this and we cut a branch off and we say, well, this we want to smoothly heal over. We clean up the cut nicely to a nice smooth finish, and then we dab a little bit of cut paste on it, just like that, and let that dry. With the cut paste applied, the cambium cells don't dry out anymore. Therefore, the wound doesn't get any bigger than it is right now, and the cells, once they start multiplying, once they respond to the cut that we've just made, can easily grow over the wound that we just made. The nice thing about this cut paste is it also has some few hormones. So the liquid stuff is particularly good for azaleas. What do we use the putty for? When we are working on our maples, for instance, and we make cuts, we also would like these big cuts to heal over. Of course I'm saying these big cuts, because these tiny little branches that you're clipping off, that doesn't need cut paste. No, I am talking about making big cuts. Those sort of cuts really need cut paste. Naturally, these cuts need to be prepared before you add the cut paste, and in this case you need to find out where the node is. There's a little line in the bark, and that is pretty much where the dieback will occur. And we're going to trim this back all the way nicely until that spot. Sharp tools help a lot when you want the cut to close over, and a smooth cut is part of the end result of using sharp tools. I am using slightly concave cutters so that there's a light depression here. Now let's see what the cut paste from Naturgeist can do. So this material was made by Naturgeist himself. He has a very nice video on his channel. The stuff looks like it is a little bit stickier than normal, but he gave me a recommendation, the one that I always use already. Make sure your fingers are wet. If your finger is wet, then the putty won't stick to it. Take the cut paste, put it over the wound. Make sure the edges are nice and tight, and that's pretty much all there is to it. The stuff sticks well to the tree. It smears well. It looks like it has the right consistency. Let's see what the season will bring. So far, so good. Right, little shout out to Natuurgeist who sent me this putty. He made this himself in his channel. I'll pop a link down below. He put a full video on how you can make it yourself, but he's selling this stuff as well, so order it. This was a short introduction on cut paste and cut paste glue. How to use it, when not to use it, why to use it. It is not a lot of information in this video. There will be more if you want to. Drop me a line. And yeah, there is a QR code. I don't know where it goes. One promise, don't do it now. Watch the video till the end, then come back to this spot, scan the code and let me know where it ends up. I think he would like to have a review of this product. Let me have a look. I want to open this up and oh, that looks like good putty. And indeed it is a little bit harder than normal. It's of course only 10 degrees and I'm sitting outside. Great stuff. Let's see in summer whether this wound has healed properly as well. Looks fine so far. Great stuff. Thank you for sending it. See you next time.